In 2025, the once bustling aisles of Subway and Jack in the Box are quieter than ever, and it's not just about taste. It's about trust, price, and priorities. As inflation pushes the cost of a basic fast food meal past what many families are willing to pay, even the cheapest options, like Little Caesars' formerly reliable $5 pizza, have become out of reach. Customers aren't just walking away because the food changed. They're walking away because everything changed. With grocery bills climbing, rent consuming bigger portions of paychecks, and financial pressure mounting, millions are rethinking what convenience is worth. For chains built on the promise of fast, cheap, and familiar, that shift is proving fatal. The real story isn't a string of business failures. It's a cultural reckoning. These closures and empty drive-thrus are the visible symptoms of deeper fractures in American life, where economic stress and evolving values are redefining how people eat, spend, and live. Brands like McDonald's, KFC, and Pizza Hut, once cultural institutions, are now struggling to stay relevant as consumers demand more transparency, better quality, and real value. The nostalgia they banked on can't compete with rising costs and changing expectations.
Don't get fooled by the label. Subscribe now to uncover what's really behind your favorite brands, and get the truth big food doesn't want you to see.
Without bold reinvention, these chains face not just a dip in profits, but a slow, public exit from the American routine they once helped define. In 2025, America's fast food industry is facing a reckoning, not a slow decline, an accelerating collapse. 15 major chains, once considered untouchable, are now struggling to keep their doors open as millions of Americans walk away. Prices are up, quality is down. And for more and more people, the drive-thru is no longer worth the drive. This isn't about one bad year or a few management missteps. This is a crisis born of a collapsing value proposition. Fast food was once affordable, convenient, and predictable. But now, inflation has stripped it of what made it appealing in the first place. Brands like Taco Bell, Subway, Popeyes, Burger King, and McDonald's are seeing fewer customers, shrinking margins, and store closures across the country. Consumers are fed up with paying more and getting less. The changes started slowly, menu prices creeping upward, portion sizes shrinking. Then it accelerated. A taco that once cost $1 now costs $2.50, and it's smaller. A value meal that used to feed a family now breaks the budget. The $5 Little Caesars pizza? Gone. It's now well over $8 in most areas. The foot-long sub from Subway? Offer more than $12. And with every price hike, the appeal of fast food vanishes. People aren't just walking away. They're turning to other options entirely. Home-cooked meals, frozen dinners, cheaper local restaurants. And what they're saying loudly is that fast food no longer delivers on its promise. The rise in prices is not matched by quality, and that disconnect is killing customer loyalty. Taco Bell used to dominate the late-night scene. It was cheap, reliable, and fast. But in 2025, it's facing serious drops in traffic, not just because of prices, but because of changing habits. Late-night social behavior has shifted. Safety concerns, inflation-driven lifestyle changes, and a more home-centered culture mean people aren't out at midnight like they used to be. Jack in the Box, which thrived on the same night owl crowd, is suffering too. Closing early, cutting hours, losing revenue. Even giants like McDonald's are feeling it. Yes, the golden arches still stand, but inside, the vibe has changed. Self-service kiosks dominate. The dining rooms are half empty. The sense of familiarity and warmth that once defined the chain is fading. The E. coli outbreak didn't help. It sent a wave of distrust through loyal customers. And when people stop trusting the food, they stop coming back. KFC and Popeyes are also caught in the storm. Their main product, fried chicken, is one of the hardest hit by inflation. The cost of oil, poultry, and packaging has surged. So prices rise, but quality doesn't. Customers notice. People expect consistency, especially when times are hard. And when they don't get it, they walk. Dairy Queen, Pizza Hut, and Little Caesars are pulling back from small towns. They once served as cultural landmarks, places where families gathered, teenagers worked their first jobs, and communities found a shared routine. But these chains are vanishing from those neighborhoods. Part of it is economics. Part of it is shifting values. But the result is the same, a sense of cultural loss. The fast food spot down the street that was always open, boarded up, closed, gone. The decline is everywhere. Even Subway, once the largest restaurant chain in the U.S. by number of locations, is shuttering stores at a rapid pace. Its explosive expansion in past decades created market saturation and a quality crisis. Stores became interchangeable, forgettable. Foot traffic dropped. Reputation tanked. And now the closures speak for themselves. Burger King? Still around, but barely holding on. Many of its locations are worn down, visually outdated, and struggling to modernize fast enough. Even with efforts to introduce technology, apps, drive-through AI, mobile ordering, the chain struggles to retain its identity. Because modernization isn't just about screens. It's about value. It's about connection. And many chains have lost both. Automation is spreading fast across the industry. Chains are betting big on kiosks and AI-driven services to cut labor costs. But this strategy comes with a downside. Older customers, many of whom make up a reliable base, feel alienated. The personal touch, already fading, is now nearly gone. It feels cold. It feels transactional. It feels disposable. That sterile experience is costing these brands more than they expected. You can't build loyalty through a touchscreen. And when customers are already skeptical about prices, service, and safety, stripping away human connection is a fatal miscalculation. Operationally, many of these companies expanded too fast. Too many stores, too close together, offering the same food with no innovation. It diluted their value, weakened their brand, and led to internal strain. Now, they're trying to consolidate, but for many, it's too late. Inflation is not a short-term issue for these brands. It's structural. Ingredient costs keep rising. Labor is more expensive. Logistics are stretched. And in trying to preserve profits, these companies raised prices well past what their customers can justify. That has turned fast food into a luxury for many households, a radical reversal from its original purpose. Consumers today are different. They demand more transparency. They want better ingredients. They're paying attention to what's in their food. They're wary of health scares and concerned about where their money is going. And above all, they want value. If they don't feel they're getting it, they move on. Fast food's decline is not just about economics. It's cultural. These brands were once woven into the fabric of American life. But today, convenience no longer beats caution. Familiarity no longer justifies inflated prices. And in a post-pandemic world where families are watching every dollar, the idea of spending $30 or more on fast food that used to cost half that, it doesn't make sense anymore. There's a broader story here. It's not just that these 15 chains are struggling. It's that they're emblematic of society that's shifting. Households are making hard decisions, choosing rent over restaurants, medicine over milkshakes. The dining experience that once brought people together is being replaced by pragmatism. People aren't just opting out of fast food. They're opting out of what it represents. Overconsumption, waste, and a lack of connection. To survive, these chains will have to fundamentally rethink their approach. Not just tweak the menu or launch a new app, but redefine what value really means. Rebuild trust. Focus on quality. Connect again with their communities. Because if they don't, their slow decline will turn into total collapse. The truth is, Americans aren't just getting poorer. They're getting smarter. They're prioritizing differently. And fast food, in its current form, isn't making the cut. These brands were built for another era. One where time was tight, money was looser, and expectations were lower. That era is over. What comes next depends on whether these companies can adapt, or whether they become relics of a fast-fading past. If you've noticed these shifts in your own life, if your go-to spot raised prices, cut portions, or just doesn't feel worth it anymore, hit like. If you've seen stores close in your town, or found yourself cooking at home more than ever, leave a comment and tell us what's changed for you. And if you want to stay informed on how these economic and cultural shifts are shaping the world around you, subscribe. Because the story of fast food isn't just about food. It's about who we are becoming and what we're no longer willing to accept. The decline of America's biggest fast food chains in 2025 is not just a business story. It's not just about fewer burgers sold or fewer people pulling into drive-thrus. It's a cultural moment. It's a shift in identity. For decades, these brands weren't just restaurants. They were habits, landmarks, traditions. And now, millions of Americans are walking away. They're walking away from $10 value meals that don't fill them up, from soggy fries, smaller portions, and mystery meat sandwiches that used to taste better for half the price, from touchscreen menus and robotic greetings, from brands that feel less like comfort and more like a cash grab. It didn't happen overnight, but it's happening everywhere. Pizza Hut used to be the weekend go-to. Families sat in red booths. Kids played arcade games. Parents shared a pitcher of soda and a pan pizza. That ritual is gone. The stores are closing. The dine-in experience is disappearing. It's being replaced by smaller carry-out-only locations or shuttered buildings altogether. Pizza Hut is now a ghost of what it once was. Dairy Queen, another staple of American childhood, is fading too. Yes, some still visit for a blizzard or cone, but rising prices and shrinking portions have changed the experience. That after-school treat or affordable family night out now costs 3 times what it used to, and people are noticing. It's no longer worth it. Even Popeyes, despite its viral moments and occasional lines out the door, is struggling to hold on. Chicken costs have soared. Oil prices are volatile. And every time a customer waits 20 minutes for lukewarm food, they remember they could have just cooked dinner at home. The hype wears off. The frustration lingers. KFC faces the same challenge. Once synonymous with Sunday dinners and family buckets, it's become an afterthought. Locations are aging. Quality varies wildly. Prices climb while the portions shrink. And in a year where every dollar counts, that's a deal breaker. Consumers are no longer fooled by shiny commercials or limited-time gimmicks. They're asking tougher questions. What am I really getting for my money? Is this food worth what I'm paying? Is this even food I want to be eating? Subway learned the hard way. After saturating every strip mall and corner with nearly identical stores, quality control fell apart. Sandwiches became inconsistent. Ingredients got cheaper, but prices didn't. Loyalty evaporated. And now, hundreds of locations are closing because customers simply stopped caring. Even McDonald's, the most iconic of them all, is at a crossroads. A brand that once defined American fast food is now facing a crisis of confidence. The dollar menu is gone. The portions are smaller. And with rising costs, even a basic combo can push close to $15. For many working families, that's a luxury, not lunch. The E. coli outbreak earlier this year didn't just spark health concerns. It shattered trust. When safety becomes a question mark, the entire brand suffers. Parents who once grabbed Happy Meals without a second thought are pausing, rethinking, walking away. And then there's Burger King, once McDonald's fiercest competitor. Now, many of its locations look like relics of the past. Outdated decor, broken signage, empty drive-thrus. The Whopper may still be on the menu, but the spark is gone. Consumers have noticed the neglect, and they responded with silence. Even chains like Jack in the Box, which thrived off late-night foot traffic, are floundering. Social patterns have changed. People aren't out at 2 a.m. like they used to be. And when they are, they're not willing to pay inflated prices for food that feels like an afterthought. This is more than economics. It's emotional. Fast food was never just about food. It was about convenience, yes, but also comfort, routine, nostalgia. And when brands abandon the very values they were built on, affordability, reliability, familiarity, they lose more than sales. They lose identity. They lose trust. And once that's gone, it's almost impossible to get back. Many chains try to modernize. Apps, kiosks, AI drive-thrus. But in chasing efficiency, they lost something human. They replaced familiar employees with machines. They streamlined to the point of sterility. What used to feel personal now feels transactional, cold, disposable. That doesn't work in a world where people are already burned out, overworked, and watching every penny. If they're going to spend $30 on a family meal, it better feel like something special. Right now, fast food doesn't. It feels like a bad deal. And customers are done pretending it's not. There's also fatigue. Decades of the same food, the same flavors, the same experience. No meaningful innovation. No real change. Just new wrappers on the same old offerings. That's not enough to bring people back. Not in 2025. And it's not just about food choices. It's about survival. Millions of American households are cutting back, not by choice, but by necessity. Inflation has hit everything: rent, gas, medical bills, groceries. There's less discretionary income. And when push comes to shove, fast food is one of the first things to go. Why spend $12 on a sandwich when you can make 5 at home for the same price? Why order a $9 taco meal when a bag of beans and rice feed your family for days? That's the math people are doing. Every day, quietly, repeatedly. And the result is empty restaurants, closed locations, and brands scrambling to figure out what went wrong. But the answer isn't complicated. Fast food got too expensive, too impersonal, too inconsistent. And now it's being rejected. The industry can spin it any way it wants. Blame labor shortages, supply chains, consumer trends. But the truth is simple. People stop seeing the value. And once that perception is gone, there's no marketing campaign that can fix it. These 15 chains, Taco Bell, Popeyes, Jack in the Box, Dairy Queen, KFC, Pizza Hut, Little Caesars, Subway, Burger King, McDonald's, and others, they represent more than declining profits. They represent a moment in American life that's ending, a shift in how people eat, how they spend, how they think about food, time, and money. And that shift isn't going away. It's deepening. To survive, these companies will have to do more than cut costs or release new menu items. They'll have to reconnect, rebuild trust, relearn what matters to people in a world that's more anxious, more frugal, and more conscious than ever before. They'll have to prove that they're worth the price, not just in calories, but in quality, in experience, in humanity. Because people aren't just looking for fast food. They're looking for something that feels real, something that respects their time, their money, their values. And if these chains can't deliver that, they'll keep fading, one closure at a time, one lost customer at a time, until all that's left is a memory of what used to be. What we're watching unfold across the fast food industry isn't just a dip in profits. It's a collapse of trust. These chains built their empires on one promise: cheap, fast, reliable food. That's it. That was the deal. And in 2025, that deal is broken. Not just bent, broken. When the $5 meal becomes a $12 disappointment. People don't just feel cheated, they feel insulted. When the burger is smaller, the fries half full, and the soda comes with surcharge, people don't shrug and move on. They leave, and they're not coming back. The worst part is, many of these brands didn't just fail to adapt. They refused. While the economy shifted, while families cut spending, while customers screamed for value, these chains raised prices, cut corners, and doubled down on automation. They turned real food into frozen filler. They replaced hospitality with touchscreens. They chose cost-cutting over customer experience. The irony? These companies still think they're selling convenience. But in 2025, there's nothing convenient about spending $35 to feed a family of 4 with soggy fries, tasteless chicken, and a sense of regret. That's not dinner. It's daylight robbery. And people feel it. That quiet frustration has turned into action. They walked away from Taco Bell's bloated prices, from KFC's quality inconsistency, from McDonald's shrinking burgers and malfunctioning kiosks, from Subway's flavorless footlongs that cost more than a sit-down lunch in some places. The loyalty is gone. The nostalgia is fading. And all that's left is a product that no longer delivers on its promise. For decades, fast food chains expanded recklessly, opening new locations without regard for saturation or sustainability. Now they're paying the price. Empty dining rooms, reduced hours, permanent closures, franchises bailing. It's all there. You just have to look around. That Subway that used to be on every corner? Gone. That Dairy Queen where kids celebrated Little League wins? Shuttered. The Pizza Hut that once meant Friday night, now a discount mattress store. And still, the executives sit in boardrooms asking why the numbers don't look right. They think launching a new spicy chicken sandwich or adding another app feature will fix the crisis. It won't, because the crisis isn't the menu. It's the model. People are no longer content to throw money at food that disappoints them. They're learning to cook again, buying in bulk, finding value in the freezer aisle, rediscovering that a $20 grocery run can feed their family for days, not just one overpriced combo meal. And for some, it's not even about saving money. It's about taking back control. When food prices are unpredictable and service feels robotic, staying home becomes a safer, smarter choice. Fast food used to be the answer for a busy life. Now, it's a question people are less and less willing to ask. Chains like Jack in the Box and Popeyes, brands that once thrived on impulse, are being crushed by new habits. People plan ahead now. They're not swinging by the drive-thru after work anymore. They're meal prepping. They're budget tracking. They're taking inflation seriously because no one else is. That's the hidden story behind this collapse. It's not just about rising costs. It's about changing expectations. Americans are no longer willing to lower their standards for convenience. They want real value. They want transparency. And they want food that doesn't feel like a scam. Fast food isn't dying because people don't like burgers. It's dying because it stopped respecting the people who made it successful in the first place. This industry could have evolved. It could have led with empathy. It could have said, "We see what you're going through. Here's how we're stepping up." Instead, it said, "Pay more, get less, and do it with a smile." Now, the bill has come due, and for millions of Americans, the answer is simple: no thanks. The future of fast food depends on whether these companies are willing to listen, really listen, to what their customers are saying. They don't want gimmicks. They don't want deluxe sauces or loyalty points. They want decent food at a fair price, served by people who care. If these chains can't or won't deliver that, they'll keep fading, quietly, relentlessly. So if you felt this shift in your own life, if you stopped going to drive-thru, started cooking more, or just realized that your favorite chain isn't worth the cost anymore, hit like. Share this with someone who's noticed the same thing. Leave a comment and tell us, what was the last straw for you? And if you want to stay informed as these changes continue to ripple through the economy and everyday life, subscribe. Because this isn't just about fast food. This is about how Americans are redefining what matters, one meal at a time.